Am I the a-hole for letting everyone know how weak and pathetic my father is when he was bragging about raising me, when growing up all he did was let my mom walk all over him? My dad is against any type of confrontation or argument. He's extremely passive and he never stands up for himself. If someone bumped into him because they wasn't paying attention, my dad would make it seem like it was his fault. If he got paid and his check was short, he wouldn't do anything about it. If he took his car to the mechanic and they didn't fix it properly, he would just accept it as is. He was against any type of confrontation, and that sucked because it made a tumultuous childhood for me, because my mom was very narcissistic. She made my dad quit his job, be a stay-at-home dad, made him do all the chores, insult him all the way through, and cheated on him relentlessly, even bringing some of her partners to our home. And my dad never questioned any of it. My mom enjoyed making my dad's life miserable every single day. And if it wasn't for my extended family, I don't know where I would be, because they were there for me. They were there for me as much as they could be. And they even tried for years to get my dad to leave my mom, but he would not budge. And things got so bad that my mom started being mean to me and saying things to me. And my dad never once stood up for me or said anything about it. I remember as a kid, I went up to him crying, telling him about some stuff my mom did. And he just told me to forget about it. He tried to sweep it up under the rug and even tried to justify it. When I turned 18, my mom promptly kicked me out of the house. And my dad didn't say anything. He just sat there looking. I ended up joining the military and getting stationed all the way across the country. And I'm not going to lie, I almost went down the wrong path because I was so filled with hatred. But if it wasn't for therapy or the people I met along the way, I would have went down the wrong path. 2 years later, after I got stationed, my mom ended up leaving my dad. And then a year later, she ended up passing away when she got hit by a DUI driver. Now, in therapy, I knew I needed it, because when I heard that news, it made me happy. And I knew deep down inside, I was still filled with all of that hatred. Now, I'm 30 years old. I think I'm doing better. I have an amazing girlfriend, and I have extremely low to no contact with my dad. I've tried to make that connection with my dad, but it's just not there. Recently, I went to a family reunion with my girlfriend, and my dad was there because it's his side of the family. Now, they do have many issues with my dad, but he's still family. He's still family, of course, or whatever they try to say. So I just made sure I tried my best to avoid him that whole day. Well, while I was talking to my uncles, I overheard my dad talking. He was talking about how he has a coworker that's going through a divorce because he recently found out his wife was cheating on him, and he's favorable in the divorce. He has a favorable outcome. My dad was saying how he was trying to convince his coworker to forgive his wife and work through it. And in his word, work toward, set a good example before unity and forgiveness. And how he thought he set a good example for me in that regard. And it's like a switch flipped in my head. It's like I went all the way back years to being that 18-year-old kid filled with rage, filled with anger. All these years, and he hasn't learned anything. So I turned to him, I asked him, "Are you freaking serious?" And he just sat there stuttering over his words. And then I started a word vomit, but I told him, "You're a pathetic father and a pathetic man. You watched as your son was treated badly and you just sat there like a coward. This whole family knows you're a coward. Everybody knows, and they'd be a fool to take any advice from you." And I just started going off on him, and I'm not quite sure what I said, but I was saying a lot of stuff until my girlfriend pulled me away. She pulled me away and took me home, and it instantly felt good to be away from that man. And she hugged me, and I already knew my girlfriend was the best thing to ever happen to me. And don't worry, I'm going to start back therapy because I know it wasn't right, but I had to get that off my chest. Now, my uncles are telling me that I was good to do it and that it's finally good for him to hear it from me. But my grandparents are letting me know that I shouldn't have did that in front of everybody. If I was going to do that, I should have took him to a room away from everybody. But I just couldn't help it. It was like rage overtook me at that moment. And don't worry, I'm going to therapy. I'm going back to therapy because I know I'm not all the way healed. But I want to know, was I wrong for what I did?